Should we like do an intro? Be
Um,
like, "Hi, I'm Nick. That's David over there with that beautiful gay little voice of his."
yeah, we're two severely disturbed lost boys.
I wouldn't say disturbed, maybe. I
One
don't
of
know.
us is severely disturbed and
Yeah,
lost.
you'll figure out who.
Yeah. If I'm self-conscious of the way I'm speaking, I'm like a different person.
Oh, I'm making it worse right now.
Nah, it's already.
Okay.
I'm just fucked up, man.
Yeah, I know.
It's never, none of it is ever your fault.
Hopefully, hopefully everyone will come to learn just how fucked up you are.
Yeah, I'm a little worried about that.
No, it's good, man. It's great. I'm fucked up too. You take it to another level, maybe.
I'm gonna be like, I have a message of hope, and it black pills like 10,000 people
Yeah,
that kill themselves.
it's possible. I
It
think
becomes,
you've already killed a couple people with your fucked up words.
I was just trying to help, but
There's
it
been
didn't help.
more than one person you've had a conversation with, and at the end of the conversation, they go and kill themselves.
It's been two people.
Two people.
One of them didn't kill themselves, they tried to.
Okay. I mean, I think that's
It was bad.
yeah. That's way too high of a number. I have zero.
One of them was, it was selfish of me to not realize how bad of a way they were in, and I just told them a really fucked up dream I had, and they killed themselves. And then the other one was a really religious girl I was drinking with in my freshman year in college who just talked my ear off drunk for like, I don't know, almost like 2 hours. And then finally had a moment where she's like, I've been really rude. Like, I've been talking the entire time. Like, what's going on in your life? Like, who are you? And I talked with her about like what I'd been struggling with and reading. And I think I just like inadvertently like pushed her into the abyss without meaning to.
Hell yeah.
And
Hopefully, we can get more people in that direction.
I'll try to be real careful about that. I really felt very bad about that. She kicked me out of the house, and then I found out she attempted suicide that night.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, and the craziest thing is I thought it went really, really well. Like I was really happy that for the first time in a long time, like I'd gotten to share with like someone what was going on.
You're a sick fuck. You're a sick fuck. You don't even realize how sick you are.
Honestly, I I don't know, man. I thought it was hopeful. Like I really, it was about like the darkness in life, but how we're equipped to handle it. Like we evolved to be able to handle it.
Yeah, but you talk about this overwhelming darkness that almost like it takes everything every day to not succumb to it.
Yeah,
That's kind of like your attitude. I could totally understand why somebody on the edge is like, this guy seems really reasonable
yeah.
and he's struggling this hard. Yeah, I'm out.
Yeah, the guy that invited me over to that place when I got kicked out of the house, it ended with me getting really drunk later and them holding me and slamming my head into a car door.
Damn.
And
So they actually blamed you for it?
yeah, they were mad. And the funny thing is, the whole reason she was suicidal in the first place is because this guy had cheated on her and she was in love with him. So it was like, dude, it was all of this is actually your fault.
No, but you were the perfect scapegoat in that moment.
Yeah,
It worked out for him.
it did. Yeah, he was cleverer than me.
That's fucked up.
And he took my truck keys and I never got them back.
You had to get a new pair of keys cut?
No, I just had a backup pair,
What a scumbag.
but the guy just would disappear. I'd show up to his apartment, knock on the door. I could see him through the window, and he would just never come. I'd be like, I can see you're there. I think the only thing I ever got out of him is he flipped me off. And
Well,
I just gave up.
his girlfriend did try to kill herself right after a conversation with you.
It's a girl that he was like bragging about how many girls he's dicking down behind her back, and she finally found out, and now she's like losing her mind over it, and he's laughing at the pain she's in. Like,
That's a crazy point to insert yourself and be like, yeah, this is really
what
after because like after she was talking to you for like 2 hours about her problems, and then you're
Yeah.
like, yeah, life is dark and it does suck.
I, I was getting to the hopeful part when she kicked me out. Is really when I think back on it.
That's amazing.
It was like, but wait till you hear this. And she's like, get out of my house, like with tears running down her face. But yeah, I felt really bad about that. Very, very bad. But the other guy was a coworker, and I came to work graveyard, and he tried to give me a copy of Monster Hunter World, and he kept just sighing, like really, really long sighs. And he offered to give me the game, and I'm like, I don't really like Monster Hunter, thank you though. And then he's like, and just this sad, dead look in his eyes. And I go, I had this crazy dream. And I tell him, because I'd just woken up like 30, 40 minutes before my shift. And I tell him about this dream where I was still working at this place like 40 years in the future. And I'm like this old man that doesn't understand how anything works. And all the kids just laugh behind my back about how much of an idiot that I am, that I still have this dog shit job and I'm not even useful there. And then I walk out the exit, and it's just a dog run from my childhood, and just chain link fences closed in, and it's filled with all the dogs from my childhood, all of my family dogs, but they're all like decayed, like half decayed, and rotted, and just necrotic skin, and they're all like baring their teeth and growling in a menacing way, and then they bit my legs, and I fell down, and then they just started eating me. And the guy's like, all right, man, well, see you later, and just walks out the door, and then killed himself like an hour later. And I feel really bad. Should have, I mean, I was half asleep, but still,
That's
like, I should
powerful
have.
stuff, man. You got like voodoo words on you.
There is something really funny about the idea of someone that's like, I have a message of hope for those to choose to hear it, and it's just waves of people offing themselves. But yeah, that dream wasn't hopeful, but the big mistake there was just not recognizing how bad of a place he was in. I mean, Nick and I met at our job. A whole lot of people there are very depressed and kind of leaving hints of maybe suicide all the time.
I'm
so you
hoping they'll
kind of
do it.
become.
I really am. You can apply a life insurance policy to somebody if you just know their information. Have you heard this?
That's insane.
So Walmart got caught doing it for their employees.
Really?
Yeah, and in internal emails apparently they were saying like dead peasant insurance
Oh my god.
is what they were calling it.
Is
So-
this true?
Yes. So if you
That's-
yeah, so if you have somebody's information, you can take a life insurance policy out on them. It's like gambling.
wow.
I know a couple people at
So
work that I
you're
would.
saying you're putting it under your name and you get the money?
Yes.
That seems like a really, really bad idea.
I guess it's like like they've been doing it. I guess anyone can do it.
That's fucking
I'll have to look
nuts.
into it a little more, but there's a couple people at work that I'm betting on.
Wow,
Would be
man.
dead. I don't know if suicide nulls that though. Does suicide usually null out a life insurance policy?
I would think so. I know like the death of a salesman. That's like, have you ever read that
No.
or seen that play? It's like this 1920s, 30s, something like that. American salesman who just kind of doesn't figure, he just doesn't ever achieve financial independence, and everything is about money to him and status. And he's just very hyper fixated on how he's failed as like a provider. And then he like sucks a tailpipe with a life insurance policy, and
That's the end of the book?
yeah, it's how it ends.
Wow. You're full of hope and joy, though.
I'm filled with quite a bit of hope and joy.
What the fuck is wrong with you? What the fuck is wrong with you, dude? You're talking about the death of a salesman. You're like talking about the story of Job and how awesome that is.
I do kind of think that that's an awesome story.
I mean, if
And the fucked up part of that story is that it's like he lived happily ever after, but his family is dead.
Right.
It's like, and then he gets a new family and new
Exactly.
kids,
but if
and
you're
everything's great.
if God kills your wife, are you gonna be satisfied with that? If He gives you 3 brand new wives that are just way hotter?
Yeah, it's so, that part of it is so fucked up. It's just like a numbers game.
Yeah.
It's insane. That part of it is nuts. But I do like the idea of someone like keeping true to some kind of code and set of principles and a story that in the long run that's good.
Do you
Even
think,
if it's not always true. I
was
think
Job in on it? Job was in on it, right? Like God told Job that this was the deal.
yeah. God,
That's
God,
even-
God filled out a dead peasant policy on
Yeah.
Job.
That's even more fucked
Or I
up.
guess the devil did, actually. The dead
So-
peasant policy.
God did talk to Job about it, right? Like he was aware that there was a bet between him and God, the devil and God.
Man, it's been a while since I've read Job. I didn't think that was revealed to him until
Okay.
later on.
Yeah, because if it was revealed to him right off the rip, I mean that's insane.
Yeah. Yeah, that would actually, like, that'd make it really, really hard to keep your faith.
Yeah, this is so cruel.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's a fucked up story. It's
It's my favorite story in the Bible.
it's very cool. I think my favorite is Belteshazzar after they enslave the Jews and destroy the temple and steal. That's not the
you
part
like
that
Jew
I like.
slavery?
No. They steal the silver and the gold, and Belteshazzar is eating with this consecrated, like, holy silver and drinking, like, from a silver goblet and stuff. And on the wall, a ghostly hand appears that says, Mene, Mene, Tekel Upharsin. And he's like, what the fuck does that mean? So he contacts, like, all of his wise men to try and decipher it. And if they can't figure it out, he'll, like, put them to death. And none of them can figure it out. And then he gets, I forget which Jewish prophet is brought in to read it. And he says, literally it means number, weight, division. But what it really means is God has weighed you in the scales and found you lacking. And that the Medes and the Persians are going to take away your land from you. And I don't know. I've always loved that. It's so, I don't know. It's like a fantasy novel or something. It's cool. But if you look into Mene Mene Tekel Upharsin, it's all Kabbalistic connections between like the numeric values of the letters and
Oh, I've heard of that.
and it's so cool. Like it's like you can watch like, you know, hundreds of rabbis like arguing in the Talmud over different Kabbalistic interpretations, and it's all really, really interesting and really fun. It's cool.
I'm a little too retarded for all that. I like the surface level conspiracy stuff.
Yeah,
You know, like give me 9/11,
right.
give me the moon landing's fake,
Yeah.
give me the dumb shit, give me those stupid tablets that some dickhead farmer in Peru was making.
Yeah, yeah,
Give me that mystery hole.
yeah, for sure. That
Those-
stuff's fun.
They're just, yeah, I mean, I don't like when it gets like real and you're like, this is confusing. I need to make a ton of connections here. There's a ton of research that I need to do about this shit that probably isn't real.
Yeah.
It just loses that shine.
Yeah, that moment when you realize, like, I think I'll need to study this for years to understand it, and you just kind of go, I don't care about it enough
Yeah.
to put that kind of time in.
There's been a lot of things like that.
Yeah.
And then I feel like if you do go down any rabbit hole, you're like opening yourself up to the possibility that you're gonna go fucking insane. Like I'm sure a lot of those people that were like in queue got sucked into this
Oh yeah,
weird fucking thing. I mean, I almost got sucked into it when I was younger with the Pizzagate stuff,
for sure.
because a lot of that stuff is like just half true.
Yeah. And so much of like the way that we do a reality check to see like, am I crazy to be
Yeah.
thinking this? So much of that has to do with how many other people also think it right along with us. And that kind of that group dynamic makes us way, way, way less critical. And like, look, a whole lot of people are looking at this and they're my people too. They're the good people. Like, who's the opposition with Pizzagate? It's Hillary Clinton and what's that dude's name?
Podesta.
Podesta.
I got into it. I know. I know way too much about it.
I don't know a whole lot about it, but anytime I dive into it, I'm creeped out and like, ugh. Like the Podesta paintings in his house and stuff.
I'm,
But all that stuff, I never even know if what I'm reading is true.
the biggest thing that trips me up out of all, and I don't even want to really dive too far into conspiracy, but just like I don't see another explanation other than this is like code language for something really dark. Is when they're talking about like Obama
Yeah.
flew $80,000 of hot dogs from Chicago to the White House for us to enjoy at the party tonight.
Is it like I'm so dumb about this stuff. Is it a like agreed upon by everyone that those are the emails, or is there some possibility that that's just made up?
I'm I'm not gonna. I don't even know
I don't either.
100%. I don't want to say it because then I'm, you know,
I think I've even heard Sam Harris like shitting on Pizzagate and talking about those emails and just being like, but these people are going nuts about what it means. Who knows what it means? If I remember correctly, even he was kind of like, it is weird, but just don't fall into conspiratorial
yeah,
thinking. But
yeah. I mean, hopefully it's not kids, but I mean, I don't know. What else could you think of?
it really sounds very, I mean, sometimes it's pretty explicit too with the stuff I read, right?
Yeah,
Like it's like a 2 4-year-old hot dogs or whatever will be at the
right.
pool part. Like it's like I forget the exact examples, but
Yeah,
if those are real, it's really fucking creepy.
it'd be
And it's
really,
that and the paintings on his wall.
yeah,
I'm like, okay, those are two real big red flags. Like, what is actually going on?
it'd be really funny if we're just regurgitating some 4chan conspiracy.
We probably are. We're free bleeders. Like,
Yeah,
we're just
yeah,
doing like the 4chan dance without
right.
realizing it. There was one thing I forgot to say with the Mene Mene Tekli Farson. I think that that's in the state of nature. I think that's like a message to incels. Not like that's actually what it means, but it's women have evolved to select for adaptive qualities in men. You need to prove that you're going to produce healthy offspring and that you will be a provider. And in a weird way, if you're just totally getting rejected by women, there's a good chance it's like the way you should think of that is a ghostly handwriting. Like God has weighed you in the scales and found you lacking. Like you need to grow. Like stop just blaming all of this on everyone else and work on yourself.
I just have I feel bad for him. You know, it's it's hard to even identify. You know, especially when I think it's a cultural problem. Like our culture is producing incels.
I think our culture, both for men and women, it's producing like maladaptive. uh, Like there's a very, as a general trend, both of us are getting less and less adaptive, and and both political parties kind of track with that. And I think they're getting maladaptive. It's a fucking nightmare. Yeah, I don't know how good women are in a modern Western society at judging a man and whether, number, weight division, I have weighed you in the scales and found you lacking.
How many incels have you met? I mean, you
A
know,
ton.
really.
Yeah. With all the nerd culture, computer,
Hmm.
you know, PC builder culture.
I don't know too many incels. So like I don't like I would like to meet one, and I'm just curious like how do they live their lives that is just such an utter, not that I'm some fucking piece of ass or anything, but like how do they like live their lives where they're totally just a turn off all the time?
It's really sad.
Do they have skills?
Yeah,
Like real world skill, like can they change a tire and shit?
yeah. The person I'm thinking of,
Like what's, I don't know, what in your observations have you seen that you're like this is, women hate this?
the in with the friends I've had that are incels, they're all on the spectrum and really kind of completely incapable of human niceties and
Uh,
of reading the emotional layer of a conversation and caring about it.
yeah.
Even if some of them know it and they're just like, but that's all nonsense and we just have to say exactly what we think. And
So would you think it's like a slightly autistic guy with narcissistic tendencies? I mean, that would just straight up
that's
describe,
pretty much all of them, I would
yeah.
say. Like
That
they're not full-blown narcissists, like they do nice, kind things, but they're on that spectrum
yeah.
somewhere too.
Like what's Elliot Rogers, that guy just totally
Yeah.
fit that bill. I mean, I remember at the time hearing this stuff and being like, this is fucking insane.
Yeah, it was awful.
I don't know how you even get down that like level of thought with that much hate in you, like actual
Right.
disgust for other people.
And when I'm saying incels, I mean involuntarily celibate by itself. I'm not talking about the whole culture of blaming women. Most of the incels I know, I'm just talking about people who have never and will never get laid without like paying a woman, you know?
It's a dark place to be.
Yeah, in one case. So when I was still using opiates, the dealer showed up at my buddy's house with the drugs we'd been waiting for, with a girl that he just picked up in a bad neighborhood, and he was like, you know, basically just if you let us use you, we'll keep feeding like drip feed of black tar.
Fuck.
And the girl shows up and is just offering to all of us, like, I'll suck your dick for, and she gives a price for each of us. And she goes, you know, to me, it's like $20. This other kid, like, you know, 25. And then she goes to the incel and she just goes, oh, for you, $120. And he just goes, absolutely, that would be incredible. And like goes and gets the money and like, this like come on, and she's
No
just like
fucking way.
looked so bummed out, and it was so gross, man.
Oh my god. See, if I was in that situation, I would immediately. I think I would be like flight or like fright. Like what was it?
Fight or flight.
Fight
Yeah,
or flight. What the fuck is
I
wrong with me?
I got out of there pretty quick.
Yeah, I'd be so
It
freaked out
it really
by that
it was
situation.
gross.
There's been a couple situations I'm in where like I'm like just offered sexual services in a very
Yeah,
upfront way like that, and it's not cool.
yeah. I'm way too Protestant for that. Like I'm
No.
like, ugh.
Yeah.
I felt so bad for that girl. At that same house, another incel friend finally got a girlfriend, and she was deaf.
Nice.
And he would just rant. He was out of his goddamn mind. He would like rant about like getting. I don't even want to say. I should have called the FBI on this guy, like, because he was like premeditating like horrifying plans to like blow stuff up, and I just always was like, it's all bravado. And when he died, I love that guy. He was like a brother. His brain broke at a certain age. And when he's the only one of my friends who, when they died, I was like, me and everyone that knew him, we were all kind of like, oh, thank God he didn't hurt anyone. But
Wow.
that in front of that deaf girl, he's just like bragging about how he took her virginity, like trashed, like laying down, just with this crazy look. And he's like, I took her virginity, and she can read everything she can read his lips perfectly. And I remember just mouthing to her like, are you okay, do you need help?
What
And
a
she like paused and kind of like thought about it and was like, I'm okay, mouthed like, I'm okay.
Dude, what a fucking horror show.
It was a nightmare, man. This guy, his ringtone was a woman screaming. That was his ringtone. And people would be like, why are you friends with that guy? And I would explain when Columbine happened, that was real big when I was a kid. And not like, it was a, you know,
No, I get it.
yeah, it was a big
Not-
deal.
Not glorifying it.
Yeah, not at all. But watching that and seeing the moment when the person that they were sympathetic to, they told them to leave. They're like, you don't want to be at school today. Just leave. And I thought, God, I wonder if that guy could have done something. So that kid was a nightmare. And I really did just think, like, I'm the only thing keeping this guy from, like, God knows what, you know? Just one of the first times I hung out with him, I was always just minding him and, like, trying to keep him from doing anything, like, really crazy. So, yeah, this guy was just pussy repellent for me all throughout high school. The number of times, like, I kept him from, like, he pulled a knife on an underage kid, like he was like 18 and was chasing this kid with like a big buck knife through a park.
Wow.
And me and other friends who were also concerned about him had to like restrain him, and he's swinging at us with the knife when we tried to stop him.
How old were you?
So we became friends in 8th grade.
Okay.
And at that point, he was like a normal, really funny, really smart, weird kid. And then just something got twisted in his brain. And
What age?
10th grade.
10th grade.
10th grade, he started to just endlessly have like dark fantasies. So the first time I went to hang out, that's the story I was telling, I forgot. We went to hang out at his house, and we played Grand Theft Auto 3, and then I passed out and he went to bed. And then I just woke up to the sound. It sounded like a bloodborne creature, like wailing, crying, like bitter, horrifying tears. And he just comes up to me and he's like, can you hold me? And I'm like, what? And he's like, I need someone to hold me. And I'm just like, oh God, what the fuck is this? Like, I'm coming right out of Christian school. I'm like, definitely just programmed to be like homophobic. I'm like, I don't want to touch this guy. And then the sadness in his eyes, like, I'm just like, holy shit, this guy's like gonna kill himself or something. And I just hugged him very gingerly, very awkwardly. And then he told me he had a dream that the world that we live in is like a nightmare, that it gets revealed to all of us at some point, and that in this dream he had children. He fell in love and had 2 children, and then he started to torture his children and then eat them. And then that's when he woke up and asked me to, like, he was just out of his...
So 10th grade, probably, what, 15, 16?
Yeah, 16 really.
Don't they, like, kids can develop schizophrenia?
Yeah. And after he died, I hadn't talked to him in about 8 years, but the whole family said he was back to normal for years because he finally got institutionalized.
Really?
After doing enough crazy shit. And that they put him on an antipsychotic, and it just turned his whole life around.
That sucks.
He got a copy of Zen and the Art of Motorcycle Maintenance and just started repairing motorcycles.
Damn, that sucks, man. What a failure. Like, no, I mean, like, of us. Like,
Yeah.
if that kid had just gotten help right from the start.
Yeah.
Like, I mostly don't believe in, and I know I'm a piece of shit for this, I mostly don't believe in mental health things. I think it's, like, vastly over-reported. A lot, like, people go in for mild symptoms and...
Yeah, I definitely... That'd be an interesting thing to talk about, but yeah.
But there are very real cases, and that's probably one of them.
For sure.
Just put lithium in somebody, and all of a sudden they can be fucking normal.
Yeah. And in the last years of his life, he would go around on his motorcycle and find homeless people and just talk to them. Sounds like I'm gonna give some like Clockwork Orange, or just like brutally murder a homeless person, because that's like the kind of thing his old self would have been doing.
Poor bastard.
But he would find these homeless people and just try and talk to them and try and figure out what was wrong and then tell his story. Like, they gave me this med and it changed everything. Like, maybe you should give it a shot.
I wonder what it's like to spend years and years and years of being like a psychotic person and then just one day just snap into reality.
Right.
Like, what is that? It's got to be like so frustrating.
Just
to,
be like, what did I do to that deaf girl? Like, oh dear God, who am I? That guy was so nuts. That guy overdosed so many times. I'd have to be like, where is he? We haven't heard from him in a while. And I'd go up there and he'd be on the toilet, just bent over, and so like his body so bent up he can't even breathe. And I'd just push his torso up and he'd and like all the color would come back to his face.
Jesus Christ, man.
It was fucking nuts, man. And still, after he died, his mom blamed me for all of it, just because I'm the only one that lived, and she needs someone to blame. She thinks I got him into all drugs and everything, and it's very much not the case. From 10th grade, in 10th grade, even in 9th grade, he was going to a bad part of town trying to get heroin. Like,
As soon as it happened, like as soon as or was he?
he read Edgar Allan Poe, and he was like, he loved Edgar Allan Poe and found out that he took morphine or smoked opium and would have these dreams, and he was obsessed. He kept reading about opium and how it made you feel.
What
and
a
then
douchebag. That's like such a millennial.
if everyone was cynical, that'd be really bad. And if everyone was aspirational, that would also be really bad. I think it's just a self-regulating thing that we desire change, we make changes, those changes have unforeseen consequences, and that makes the next generation cynical, and that's good. And then there's like a cynical redrawing of the lines, you know?
I don't know. I think I've always been kind of cynical.
Yeah, it's not clear to me if it's a reaction to the previous generation.
I think it's just like how I grew up.
Yeah.
Just kind of always being like, I don't know, this is gay.
Yeah.
This is all very, I don't know. And then like realizing at some point that like, oh, you can just lie on TV.
Right.
You can just say shit and put your own spin on shit, and then
Yeah.
I remember when that happened when I was a kid, and suddenly nothing was real.
Yeah.
And it like fucked me up for a while. I had to
Me
like
too.
kind of put everything back together.
Yeah. Me too. The Iraq War, for sure, was that with me. The second Iraq War.
Mine was when Michelle Obama changed the school lunches.
Oh. Yeah. I thought you were going to talk about Big Mike. Like that she's presenting one way and then making you feel, self-conscious about your dick size.
That is a fun conspiracy. Big Mike.
It's very funny.
And if it is true, which it's definitely not, she would have a hammer on her for sure.
Yeah. It's a very funny image.
Michelle Obama with a big Futanardi cock.
Yeah.
I'm picturing like a white one too.
Oh yeah.
Like a big white cock sprouting out of her.
Yeah. That would be more what's that? Chiaroscuro. It's like using shadow and light, like light and darkness and the contrast between the two. It's a much more striking image if she has a big white cock.
Damn.
You won't forget that.
It's gotta suck to be a public figure, man.
Yeah, it's gotta be the worst thing ever.
No matter what you do, I guarantee you, like, fucking Arnold Schwarzenegger's probably got accusations of being in a pedophile cult.
Oh, yeah.
You know? Like, at some point, I think anybody.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know with how crazy people are now, like even at our job. We have trolls that we have to deal with, just crazy people calling in all the time.
Yeah, but they're actually just crazy. They're not malicious.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I wonder how much of the people sending public figures like death threats and stuff are just severely mentally unstable, though.
That's true.
I mean, a whole bunch of them are probably like Kazakhstani bot farm, just Russian propaganda bots or whatever. But
Yeah, I saw a video of this guy that was just cracked out of his mind, just talking about, I can't remember what celebrity it was. Oh, it was Lindsey Sterling, some violinist,
oh,
like an
okay.
online violinist. He was talking about how beautiful she is and that they met one time and that he's in love with her. This dude's out of his mind, clearly.
Yeah,
You don't even have to be that big,
yeah,
that famous to have a whole weird group of people on you.
yeah. I knew a guy who said he stalked Bjork, and when the big story broke that there was some like guy that almost like got her or whatever, I was like, oh shit, if it was that guy. But it wasn't. But apparently she's had crazy numbers of stalkers
Did you
over the years.
did you ever look into that story of that stalker?
Not really. I
There,
remember he was like near her house though at some point, right?
yeah, there was like a series of tapes, and then the last tape he like killed himself
Oh
on
shit.
camera. I'm pretty sure that's the whole deal. It's pretty good.
I'm gonna look into it, and it is gonna be that guy. And I just was like, Mr. Magoo. Like,
That'll be awesome. You have a new story forever. It's like I know the guy that stalked Bjork and fucking killed himself. Why do you know so many fucked up people?
I don't know, man.
I never. And your parents are like way more Christian and like try to be good people than my parents
Yeah,
in that way. I don't know, like, how did you end up around so many fucked up people? Is it because of the
I
hyper
was fucked up.
Christianity?
Yeah, I think I had a strong reaction against it and became like a really angry, bitter, kind of outsider person. And just, it's like you'd go to the lunchroom and you'd see the other people who are fucked up and you'd be like, oh, I could talk to them. That's like,
Yeah, that's true. I've been there.
yeah.
Oh, I didn't really talk to too many people in high school.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I was kind of a loner. I bet other people thought I was gonna shoot up the school.
Yeah. That was a crazy common thing if you're just an awkward or outsider weird guy.
Oh, I was outsider, weird, and I was also like insane. I would say insane shit to people, like to teachers. And one time I asked a teacher what crawled up his pussy and died.
Yeah.
I was just not cool because I went to an alternative school where they didn't care if you were cursing.
Oh, wow.
They only cared if you were like beating the fuck out of the other kids.
Yeah.
And then
They have a triage list there.
yeah, and then when they let me back into like my normal high school, I just came back with this insane attitude and like the amount of shit talk was wild. I would say nasty things to people like they would put me in like a normal class
Yeah.
and I'd just be like, "What the fuck are we talking about?" And like I would watch heads turn in the classroom and look at me like it was bad. And then I abused it too. Like I had a teacher that was like, "Okay, I understand that you just came back from an alternative school, so I'm gonna give you some leeway, but you need to like curb that shit."
Yeah.
And I just never curbed
They
it.
never curbed it.
No, dude, I'd be like yelling cunt in class.
They tried to open the door one last time for you.
It's fucked up. Yeah, eventually I went to like the alternative school in that high school.
He went to
Yeah, it was way
inception of alternative schools.
it was way nicer actually. Like the kid, like in that
Nice.
first alternative school, like I really thought that at any second I was gonna get my shit kicked in
Yeah,
for just looking the wrong way. Like it was pretty rough.
for sure.
They just took all the shittiest kids from all the neighboring like
Yeah.
high schools in that area and sent them there. They had like a metal detectors. They had like a I would say like 14, 15 steps of like concrete with just the thin carpet stapled on it.
Damn.
And at the top was like a search station and a metal detector. One time, some kid got punched in the back of the head right at the top of those stairs and crumpled all the way down.
Oh,
Left in a stretcher and never came back to school.
damn, man.
It was pretty brutal.
It's a weird. I went to like all Christian, like crazy Christian schools, And there was a similar thing where the kids who got kicked out of everywhere else, that was the other alternative. So when the parents were afraid of bringing them to a dangerous school, or they went to the alternative school and got pregnant, then they'd come to our school. So
Jeez,
it was a
man.
weird mix of like Jesus Crispy, like people looking like Ben Shapiro,
Yeah.
like wearing shirt and tie even on the days when we didn't have to, and just,
Fucking broken people and molested kids.
yeah, exactly. It was crazy.
What a wild mix. Sounds kind of cool. I think I might have liked that experience.
It was kind of cool.
Did the teachers ever like smack you around at all?
Yeah, one of them, the first day I came in school, like I'm walking down the hall and they had these skinny windows and this guy is just trying to sneak out the window and I see like a big angry hand grab him by the collar, just shaking and hold him right up to his face and just scream in his face. And that teacher turned out to be like he was in a nuclear submarine in the 70s and something went wrong and they were like stranded for a while. And like that part of it was true, but the myth was that he like ate all the other crewmen.
I couldn't have done that, man.
Yeah, that guy was nuts. He got me once too, just screaming in my face for messing around in his computer lab. The guy was a psycho, so we would play StarCraft Brood War in the computer lab. It's like the only cool thing they let us do. And Mr. Miller would do 1v7 or 1v6, whatever the max was you could do in a LAN, and would just fight all of us against him, but he cheated. And we didn't find out until after he fled across the border with a teenage girl.
Nice.
Disappeared forever. But yeah, we were like, oh yeah, duh. He was like, it was like a
Yeah.
custom map and he was like cheating. Just
Yeah.
what kind of a psycho?
Yeah, that's insane.
Be like, I'm gonna dominate 7 boys at this game. That's like Elon Musk. That's
Yeah.
like what he would do. It's
I was too crazy as a kid. I wouldn't have been able to handle somebody like that.
yeah,
I could definitely do it now, because now I just say fuck you. I'm never, it's so
right.
nice to be an adult and freedom to
It is.
associate.
Yeah, for sure.
I
Yeah,
remember,
when you're a kid, your parents just like, this is where you go. You're
Yeah.
like stuck in a box with a
Yeah.
fucking psycho who ate a bunch of people in a submarine.
I got into some pretty big conflicts with teachers when I was in school. There was this really older lady that was the
Oh no.
cooking teacher.
Oh,
She was a
no.
massive cunt. She fucked me over, like, and failed me. Not that I necessarily cared about it anyway, like passing the class. It was just
Right.
the principle of it, that she told me that I wasn't allowed to participate in any events, like anything we do. Like, I have to sit in class and do nothing. And then she failed me for it because I had a mouth on me.
Damn.
Yeah.
That's
Which is
fucked up.
insane. Yeah, I remember at one point, like, we were all sitting down with all the teachers and the principal and stuff, and I brought that up, and the principal's like, "You can't fail him for that."
Yeah, you can't keep someone from being able to participate and
I
give them an F.
Yeah, I know you actually don't like me,
Yeah.
but you can't fuck me like that, dude.
Yeah.
You're a teacher. That's crazy.
I do have a feeling if I could see everything he put her through though, I'd be like, I don't know what she was supposed to do. This
Yeah.
wasn't the right thing.
You're
but
probably right. You're
but
probably
yeah.
right. Yeah, I was too insane. I do feel bad about how I acted in school. I was a menace, and I just wasn't cool to people.
Yeah. I was a nice kid, but with teachers I would be like passive aggressive. Like not even passive aggressive. I had a couple teachers that didn't know what they were talking about, and if I did know, I should have just shut up. But I had a couple teachers where I think I made them feel like, why am I teaching this class? Like
Oh.
I'm obviously confused about this.
Because you're so smart and they're so dumb.
In Bible, like I knew a lot about that's how obnoxious of a kid I was. I was like,
Oh,
that's a bad translation of that verse.
awesome. I used to do that to my mom just to piss her off.
And
Like, I would learn the Bible to hopefully like be able to separate from it.
Yeah.
So my like we super liberal area. My mom's always pro gay,
Yeah.
like gay rights when that was a thing,
Right, right.
getting married and stuff. How insane was it that they couldn't get married for so? And then we were like, the compromise is a civil
crazy.
union.
Yeah.
It's like you can't have the same thing that the rest of us have.
Yeah.
But you get the. It's like I don't know. It's so fucking insane to me.
It is insane, man. It's crazy.
So I remember like going through Leviticus and learning Leviticus 18:22. Thou shalt not lie with a man as one does a woman, for it is an abomination. Just and I would just be like, don't you know Leviticus? Like, God like outlines this.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, it worked.
Yeah, it's really unfortunate, some of those verses, like how explicitly cruel they are.
Yeah, like what about dashing their heads on rocks?
Yeah.
Talking about babies.
Yeah, it's fucked, man. Yeah. Anyone giving that Leviticus verse, it's like they also stoned anyone who masturbates, and like if a drop of seed touches the ground, you
yeah.
have to get stoned to death too. That guy's name was Onan.
I get stoned and masturbate.
Yeah. Yeah, it's so different now how we get stoned and masturbate. The order that we do it in too. But yeah. That's why if you ever read in like old books onanism, that's masturbation. That's just an old word for that.
Really?
Cuz you're like Onan. You're spilling seed in the tent, and
So Onan just jizzed everywhere?
I mean at least once on the
That's
floor.
all it takes.
And he's like, no one knows about this, but the Lord God of Israel knows. And he notified like the high priest, and then they
Man, he's
stoned him.
he's seen me spill a lot of seed. If I had to count
You
up,
think he still watches?
no. If I had to count up how many like
Yeah.
think about like if you had a bucket in front of you and like all of the seed you've spilled throughout your entire life, like how full would that bucket be?
Yeah.
I think I would have more than a bucket full.
Yeah, I think so too. I think I'd be a little disappointed in the volume though. It'd
Yeah.
be like,
That's it?
yeah. Although I one of my testes was crushed as a kid, so
Wow.
it's like Apophis. What is it? The god Apophis. He holds a world in each hand, but one of them is crushed.
It'd be really funny. Like you have really small loads, but the sperm count is extremely high.
Yeah, I do seem to get girls pregnant pretty easy.
How many girls have you gotten pregnant?
Just two. But both of them, one of them happened like the first time. The first time I ever had sex,
Oh, yeah.
she got pregnant. Though she was also, I don't know.
I'm at 0.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good. I mean, if you're not wanting to have kids, it's good to
Yeah.
have
Going strong.
0.
Yeah, I don't want to. I've never had sex, so I don't even know what that's like.
Yeah.
But I'm not an incel. It's all on purpose.
Yeah.
I
A vol cell.
yeah, God has a plan for me
I hope so, man.
someday.
Yeah. Yeah. Doesn't sound like a story that's going to have a good ending, but
No, I want to get married first.
yeah. That's
Then
a good idea.
Then I'll start having sex.
Can you imagine actually being like that?
Dude, that would be
Like the people
nuts.
the videos of people's first kiss after they get married, and they're the worst kissers.
That would be nuts.
It's so gross. Just so much saliva. They're like just horrifying noises.
Good for them.
Yeah, I'm
There's
not.
something very sweet about that.
There is something really sweet about it, but
Yeah, I'm already tainted, unfortunately. If I could go back in time, I would never get molested.
yeah. Yeah. That'd be a real weird choice if you could go back in time to like not fix that, you know? What was the thing where you joked with your mom about committing suicide?
Couple of times there was. I have a picture of myself with a. This is so insane. Somewhere out there with an AR-15, like the barrel in my mouth and my thumb on the trigger. There's nothing in the. It's cleared and everything. Like it's opened up. You can see that there's nothing in there. There's not even a magazine in there.
Oh, dude, your poor mom.
But she doesn't know that. So I just show her the picture and be like, hey, check this out. Just,
Jesus, dude.
yeah.
If my kid ever did that to my wife, I would. I am totally against like spanking even, but I would smack my kid if he did that to my wife. I'd be so mad.
That's so fucking funny. It cracks me up because I just, it's like, she goes, what the fuck?
Jesus, man. So you know what gun oil tastes like?
Yeah, baby.
What's it taste like?
No, I don't know. I just had the barrel like in my like not all the way. Like I wasn't tonguing it up. What the fuck are you talking about?
No, that same crazy dude I talked about earlier, he would always talk about what gun oil tasted like from putting guns in his mouth.
Jesus fucking Christ.
Yeah, I was hoping to get a second. Just, it's such an odd data point. I'm curious.
No, I don't actually know. I don't want to find out. I don't want to put any guns in my mouth. I just thought it was a funny picture.
Yeah, it is funny. It's funny to show it to your mom. It's not cool at all.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
so cruel.
Well, I mean, obvious. I'm showing it to you, so I'm here. It's not real.
Yeah.
I didn't blow my head off
Right.
yet. Enough depressing stories with David. I might.
Please don't. That would really bum me out. You've joked about that a couple times, and then I'm real serious about it because it's happened before. I'm like, I took it real seriously, and you made fun of me for taking you seriously.
Yeah, you're gay for taking that seriously. I'm gonna go ahead and read out the suicide hotline number now.
No.
Give me one moment.
Isn't there a song by Logic, that white rapper that claims to be allowed
Pretty
to
sure he's
use
black.
the N-word because he's
pretty
like,
sure he's half black. That's his whole thing. He talks about that all the time. So anyway, if
I
you
thought he
call,
was like a 10th black.
guys, if you are feeling like there's no hope or you're just, out of it, you need some help, you can always call 988 and that'll direct you to the suicide hotline.
Yeah.
So don't actually die or whatever. But if you really do want to, I believe it's your right.
You could also call Hot Topic.
You could call Hot Topic.
Right.
Yeah. If you ever get a call, somebody going, I have a gun to my head, find the local Hot Topic and give them that number.
Yeah. God,
They're
I had
way
a call
more-
like that.
They're way more well equipped to handle it, I think.
There's like a Chuck Palahniuk novel. I forget what it's called, but like the suicide hotline number just gets routed to his landline. And he just starts fielding the call. Like at first he's like, you have the wrong number, but then it's been a long time since I read it. I think I was in high school when it came out. But he eventually just starts actually trying to like help the people. Forget where it went, but it was an interesting concept. He has interesting concepts. It sucks that it's like on all the top 10 books to be worried about if your boyfriend has them on their bookshelf. Like if a guy has a Chuck Palahniuk novel, it means they're like alt-right or whatever. Like Fight Club.
Yeah.
It sucks.
That's like a lot of people consume that media and then have no media literacy
Right.
and they misinterpret everything. Like I've had, I don't know, people actually watch stuff and they go, man, that was fucking awesome. I loved how like he got his revenge or whatever, and I'm like, did we watch the same fucking movie?
Yeah.
I don't know. Very retarded.
Yeah.
Not that I'm not capable of being fully retarded,
Yeah.
but at
Same
least
here.
I think I'm a little more thoughtful.
Yeah. I hate when like a movie really, really gets you and people like it's like they watched a different movie. It sucks. It's stupid to think everyone else has to feel the same things you feel about the same media though. Like we can all enjoy different things.
Right.
But yeah.
So what do you think about dropping bombs in Iran? You big fan? Not a big fan? Kind of somewhere in the middle?
I mean, as a general rule, I'm not into us dropping bombs, but I'm also not into a country like Iran having a nuclear program. And very obviously, trying to enrich the uranium beyond what we need for civilian use. So
What exactly did we strike? It was nuclear targets, nuclear sites.
yeah, 3 separate nuclear sites. I just hope we do not use a tactical nuke for anything.
That would be the wrong choice.
I think Russia would immediately then feel like they have a right to use them in Ukraine.
Yeah. You just open the door for so many things. I think, though, that's obviously just bluster. There'd be an insane choice.
Yeah. The thing that concerned me yesterday was people talking about how the bunker buster might not actually penetrate deep enough with the Fordo compound that's like kind of built under a mountain, and that some people were making the argument that this is like what tactical nukes were made for this. I'm like, oh
Jesus
god.
fuck.
Yeah. So I don't know, man.
I've also seen that like all you would need to do to fuck them up is to destroy their centrifuges, and all you would need is enough activity, like ground activity, the Earth moving while they're actually active,
Oh, interesting.
just to fuck it up a little bit. It could just shut down the whole thing.
I know there's like a legendary hacker thing where like the Mossad like somehow hacked the centrifuges like maybe 10, 11 years ago.
Really?
And it's in the hacker world, it's just legendary. Like they cannot believe that they penetrated that deep and fucked everything up.
That's insane. Yeah, Mossad they freak me out.
Yeah.
The level of like thought that goes into it. It's like, I don't know, I've had those moments where you're pissed off at somebody and you're thinking about like, what's the worst fucking thing I can do to this person? How do I get back at this person? And like,
Right.
but you live in the real world, and so you let it go.
Yeah.
They never let it go, and they plot that shit out for years.
Yeah, no one's ever been as effective. There are like the Russians stealing our nuclear secrets over and over again after World War II. That's impressive. Like it's like if there's one thing we cannot let them have this. We need to lock everything down around nukes and then around thermonuclear weapons with Ed Teller. And it's like a week later they have it, and we just
Really?
yeah, it kept happening. It's insane how good they were.
How were they? We ever figure out how they actually got that?
I know a lot has been written about it, but I've never read it. I've always been curious. But
I would guess honeypots.
Yeah, maybe.
That's what weren't the Russians famous for that?
Yeah, definitely. And what I've heard is the CIA is incredibly effective, but there are certain things we, as a general rule, won't do in terms of just brutality and cruelty.
I don't believe that.
Yeah, I don't either. But that's what's said. And that the KGB and FSB, that they're willing to just do anything. And they...
I mean, we know about Abu Ghraib, and they weren't fucking CIA. Those were like soldiers.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what we got up to. I can't, obviously, I'm sure if we knew, we'd be very disturbed. But
Yeah, those are things we could never know. Or we'd be so pissed off, we might just overthrow our government.
Yeah, even the degree to which we already know what the CIA did,
Yeah.
it's kind of fucked up our entire perspective on our country.
The people that actually know about it.
MK Ultra and all that stuff, yeah.
Even people look at that stuff like it's still conspiracy, like bullshit, and it's on their fucking website.
It's crazy. Yeah, anytime I talk to people about it, they look at me like I'm nuts, or they're already really into it.
I don't know if I'm super in. Well, I do like conspiracies, but not like. There's so many. I never went too deep on like CIA stuff. It'd be interesting to go through the website.
Yeah, for sure.
Find the interesting articles. I mean, they've admitted to so many things that are crazy.
Yeah.
That dolphin jerking off the dolphin in a half-flooded house experiment.
Yeah, John C. Lilly.
Trying to teach it how to talk.
The guy's just like blasted out of his mind on ketamine on a island with dolphins and getting into a sensory deprivation tank. He invented sensory
Really?
deprivation tanks. Yeah, that
That's
guy was
awesome.
nuts.
Yeah.
There are really fun stories about the end of his life when he really lost his mind, but I forget. He thought like dolphins. There's some weird thing where he thought like dolphins were like multi-dimensional entities, and that there was like a consortium of dolphins around the universe, and that they were pissed off at us or something.
That's so fucking funny.
He had a lot of real crazy stuff after his brain kind of broke. But so let me tell the story of what happened yesterday, and then I'll get out of here. But so I came over here to Nick's house to smoke cigars yesterday, and the guy that was going to bring cigars couldn't get them, so I had to go to a cigar shop. And I go into the cigar shop just totally make an ass of myself. Like, everything I said was insane. Like, it was real bad. They were looking at me like, damn, this dude's real fucked up. And I'm totally sober and just brain damaged. So I forget my PIN, so I can't buy the cigars. And finally, like, remember the PIN. Then leave, say something really awkward, and they just kind of like, all right. And I leave, and a guy runs out. Like, I just set my wallet down in there and just was going to leave my wallet. He came and brought my wallet with all my cash in it.
So
Very thankfully brought it out.
You're out of your mind. So when you went in there and immediately was like, I'm out of my element. This is insane. This is kind of intense for me.
Yeah.
I understand that feeling totally.
Yeah.
So what did you like? Did the guy say like, how can I help you?
No, he looked at me like, this is gonna be a problem. Like,
why?
Well, the thing is, you're saying, like, I went in there and felt uncomfortable. What you have to understand is I was uncomfortable in the car alone before I even got there. Okay. I'm struggling on my own in the car. I'm a mess. Like, I'm either totally fine when I go out and I can deal with, like, a party filled with strangers or whatever, go to a bar, or I'm in, if you could see me in the wild, you'd just be like, what the fuck is going on with this guy? But yeah, so I'm just like, God damn, I'm such an idiot. And then I come over here, we smoke the cigars, and then I leave, and I don't want to give where we live, but I got lost on the way home. It's like a 5-minute drive from here to my house.
Not even.
And I somehow got on the wrong highway and went to a restricted military base and had to find a weird place to make a U-turn with like a big sign saying like, employees only.
A 5-minute drive turned into an hour and a half?
Yeah, so then I'm like, okay, I know where I am now. Got back on the highway and went further in the wrong direction for about 45 minutes.
How long have you lived in this area?
Like 20 years.
20 years you've lived here.
So first of all, my Google Maps just died right at the start and kept just showing me your house.
You couldn't even tell me which highway is which.
Well, I don't know the names of the highway, but so here's the other thing. I do have some excuses. So this isn't really an excuse, but the air conditioner was all the way up and my eyes were so dry that I couldn't see anything. And I didn't think to turn off the air conditioner.
Are you fucking retarded, dude? What are you talking about?
For sure I am on some level.
You sound stoned. You sound like completely out of your mind, stoned all the time. That's just, and to be clear, you don't smoke weed.
No. Oh, it's so much worse when I smoke weed. So then I go to another much more high security military base in the middle of nowhere. And this is a day before we strike Iran. So they're probably like, all right, we got one. Like, okay, he left the first base. He's going to the second
You
one.
fucking
Like, track
idiot.
this guy.
He's gonna charge the gates.
Oh my God, man. And when I couldn't, there was nowhere to pull over. It was all just highway. And then the two exits I took were military bases and I wanted to just get out of there. And I finally found an exit where I was like, this is dead enough. I don't see any headlights in any direction. I'm going to pull out my phone and figure out why on earth it's not telling me directions. And I just had to just reset everything. I look and I see I have 1% battery.
Oh my God. You're like 45 minutes away from your house.
Yeah, I'm 45 minutes out now at that point. And then I realized where I am. Because even though I saw the military base signs, I was like, there's no way. That cannot be true. I know if there's one direction I've gone in, it is
crazy.
not that direction.
I wish I could feel lost like that. I've
never had that. I've never done anything
fuck
like
is
this
wrong
in my
with
life.
you?
I don't know, man. I don't know.
You sounded like you were like stoned. Maybe you were getting a contact high from.
But I was already fucking up in the exact same Mr. Magoo lost blind old man way at the cigar shop. Like I was already just fucked. Like,
Yeah, dude. If I saw you in the wild, I'd be like, "What the fuck is this guy's deal?
yeah,
Get him out of here as soon as possible." So at the cigar shop, what did you ask for?
I mispronounced like every word in the cigar I was looking for, like a Oliva Siri V. And I don't even remember what I said, but it was all wrong. And the guy just kind of smiled. And then I said it again, but said it correctly. And then he's like, oh, yeah, we won't have any of those until July. And then I'm like, man, this is a pretty cool hang that you have here. Like, it's all like leather. It looks like something out of like a 50s movie with like powerful people sipping whiskey and smoking cigars.
I think I know the place you went.
Yeah. And I kind of, I was like, you guys, is that actually whiskey? Like, are you guys like, planning what we're going to do next in Iran or whatever? Kind of making fun of them. And they sheepishly admitted it's just Coke. And they both looked like they felt like embarrassed. Like they really did care about this image and I just fucked it up.
God, you're such an asshole.
Yeah. And
those guys went home and killed themselves.
Yeah. I'd feel less bad about that. I would definitely have no fault in that, but
yeah.
Definitely the dog dream could not have helped that poor kid. Poor bastard.
Yeah, he had nothing to do with that.
He
Poor
was a
guy.
real good kid.
I'm sure.
You would have liked him.
I think a lot of people that
You would have called him gay.
Yeah.
You would have driven him to an early grave, probably. He was
Yeah.
super sensitive.
What a queer. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, I do feel like people that kill themselves are generally probably decent people.
Yeah.
They just feel too much, and if you're feeling too much, it's hard to be a bad person.
Yeah.
Although I don't know, I don't think I've met somebody that killed themselves that was like sucked. Have you?
Yeah, the people I've known who killed themselves, like they were all really beautiful people that were just too sensitive, or maybe they weren't too sensitive, they just went through too much. Like, damn, I'm not supposed to say her name. My wife had a neighbor, and it was a family with two young boys, and the youngest boy tried to run outside but didn't realize the glass door was closed, slammed into it, it broke and slid open his neck, and just he bled out like right there.
Fuck.
And then the brother killed himself. And it's like, yeah, I mean, some people, they aren't even sensitive, they just, something like that happens to someone they love and they
can't handle it. Yeah. That's like that video I saw of those, it looked like somewhere in India or Africa. I don't know. They all look the same. Somewhere over there. Not first world.
Yeah.
Where there's like a power line down. And it looks like a group of students trying to be helpful to the community and like pick up this power line that was down. And they're like doing it together. It's like kind of a beautiful like Iwo Jima, like they're putting it up together, and then like all of a sudden they all get zapped,
Oh.
and there's like 7 bodies on the ground. You know, they're just dead.
Oh God,
You're
man.
like, it is
I might have seen that.
horrific, but it is very funny.
There's one I saw. I think it was Mumbai. That's like a balloon filled with fireworks, and it's supposed to go way up in the air, and then the fireworks are supposed to like go off in a
Oh,
timed
yeah.
fashion. And there's a bunch of these, but the one that I saw that was so shocking got pulled off of YouTube, and it was on like some other like break or something a long time ago, and then it got taken off of there. But it just all explodes at once with like 10,000 people around it, and the immediate just animal reaction. Not that they are animals. All of us are animals. All humans.
Especially
are
them.
No, not especially them. But just on a purely instinctual level, this glorious explosion, they all like cheer. I mean, like they're all like, "Whoa!" And then it just explodes in their face, and there's like people on fire. A guy has like trying to put out a fire on his face.
Fuck.
It's brutal. But it reminds me of in the song Remains the Same, the Led Zeppelin DVD. There's a moment with Robert Plant in the back, and he's just talking with people, like kind of ranting drunkenly, and he goes like, "The cosmic energy." Everybody goes, "Yeah, bash!" And like no one reacts, and he's like, "Are you listening to me?" Like trying to get like Jimmy Page's attention, like I'm saying something important. And as a kid, I was like, "What the hell? What is he talking about?" And then that video, I was like, "Oh yeah, that's kind of like what that was."
Jesus Christ.
I better get home, brother.
How do we end this? I'm Nick. That's David. He's the one with the gay voice, the gay NPR voice. And I'm gonna go kill myself.
Yeah. Yeah, I only ever get one podcast deep with all the people I make podcasts with. They
Yeah.
all just go kill themselves.
I love you, man.
I love you too, brother. Have a good week.
We often like to think that the way to become a good person is to look within, find one's true self, the sort of natural self that we have. And once you've found that self, that natural thing that you are, the goal is to be sincere and authentic to that true self. So if we stick to what we naturally are meant to be, the gifts that we're naturally endowed with, that's how we can be a sincere, authentic person.